Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to be here, back on the Off the Cuff show podcast. What do we call this? This is experience, off the cuff experience. I am Anthony A.B. Brooks, and this is my good friend, the neuroscience guru herself, Miss Joy.
You can call me J-Dub.
No, we will not call we will not call you J-Dub. Not at all. So today's subject matter. Let's talk about today's subject matter. All right. Today's subject matter is one that I think will give people good information. I think it will add value to you as you continue to work with young people, whether you be a minister, a preacher, a teacher, a coach, a principal, an administrator, a therapist, or whatever, a social worker even. I think that we have some good information. But before we get started, please do us a big favor. Subscribe and like and do all that kind of stuff, because we want to continue to get this kind of information out. And we hope that you're gaining some value from it. So today's subject, Joy, is your silence feels like rejection. And this is from the perspective of a young person. Your silence feels like rejection. It may not be rejection, but the intent is not to be a person that would reject someone, but it feels that way to the child. I remember growing up, and I thank God for my mother and my father. They were great. I had a mother and a father in the home, and I really do. There were times growing up with adults that I felt, man, your say-so is not that important. You're a child, be in a place of a child. And I understand the standards they were trying to set forth. But I do remember a time where I was speaking to a principal about something that was very important to me. And I think it had something to do with athletics. And it was extremely important to me. I really wanted to make a difference. And I remember the principal being so silent, and then he just walked away. And it made me feel like, oh man, this is, what I'm saying, just it obviously is something wrong with me, or something wrong with what I'm saying. And I think that many times as adults, or as caregivers and parents, and those who work with young people, we don't take under consideration those silent moments and what they may mean to a young person.
I think you're spot on, and I think the topic is so broad, though, because a lot of us adults are almost turning back into toddlers and being egocentric. We're so in tune to what we think we need that we're forgetting that there are little people, big people even, who need us to be present and attuned. And we could be disconnected due to our daily stress. We could be disconnected due to tech use. We could be disconnected due to our own mental health issues. I mean, I could be checked out because it's easier to not deal and not listen, So yeah, I mean, here's something crazy, Anthony. I've been married for a while, and my husband. You tell me he loves me, and I'm sure he does. No, I'm just kidding. But the other night, I wanted to show him a funny cat video, which he has zero interest in. But I wanted to show him the cat video, right? This is what we do as married couples when our children have left the nest, right? We harass each other with stupid videos, okay? And when he shows me videos of stupid stuff, I watch. So I sit beside him and like, watch this video. And he looks up at it, and I'm watching the video laughing, and I look over at him, and he's texting. And he goes, yeah, I see it.
Ooh.
And I lost my ever-loving mind because it was silent. It was what was important to me. Something so stupid like a cat video. And I don't even like cats. Something so important to me was not important to you. And it felt like rejection. And when I feel rejected, guess what I do? I fight. I stand and deliver. I don't recoil and go back and feel sad. I don't go sit down. I don't fawn over people and make them, oh no, I'm just mean. Because belonging is that universal need. But I
Yeah.
think, Anthony, when you talk about that, people are like, well, I don't do silent treatment. You might. And my
Yeah.
husband's like, it's just a cat video. But it was more. It
Yeah.
was something we could share
Yeah.
and that we thought was maybe mutually funny
Yeah.
to have a bonding moment. But to
That's good.
him,
That's
he
it.
was like, eh. And I was like, oh, I'm not important to you. You'd rather text your friend about some football? I
Yeah.
could buy you a football at Walmart, right? I mean, what are you doing? I have a cat video. And saying it now, I realize how insane it sounds. But boy, I was telling you, I was ready to divorce the man because I felt so rejected because I wasn't important enough to have his full attention.
Well, you know, Joy, something that you said is so real. And I think the main word that you used was the word moment. You know, a moment, the atmosphere, you know, change happens in a moment. Destruction also happens in a moment. It's
Yeah,
all about what we choose to do in that moment. I love what you said too, because it's very similar to what we're discussing when it comes to working with young people. You felt that you brought something to the table. Hey, this is what I enjoy. I want to share it with you. And his attention didn't give you what you needed from that. And what it made you feel like was, hey, what I bring to the table is not as important as what you're interested in. Now, when he comes with the monster trucks and all that, you have to put on the wow, not because you're into
yeah.
monster trucks, but because I'm into you and what
Yes,
you're into, I'm willing to give it a shot. And I see how important that is for you. So the moment is so important. And I love the fact that we bring that back to working with young people because
right.
it helps them feel seen. It helps them
Hmm.
feel heard when what they have in their minds or they have or they're into is something exciting. I had a kid that came to me. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm into this." I was like, "Okay, great. What is it? Music. Okay, okay, great. What kind of music is it? Punk rock." I'm like, "Great, man. What is it?" He's like, "Oh, man, I love this." And we listened to the song. Joy, I understood not one word of the song, but to see his excitement in the moment
Yep.
did everything for me. So we're in there and we just started bumping into each other. He was like, "This is what you do in the mosh pit." Just boom. Yeah, let's. But I realized what I was doing in that time was gaining the foundations of the
Right.
relationship, trust, bond. You are important. I'm listening. You are important. I may never listen to this song again. But to see
No.
the excitement on that young person's face, I was like, yeah, this is an opportunity to do something big, especially when they open up enough to bring me in. So the moment was very important.
You can use it down the road, right? So let's say I had a first grader who said to a teacher, I have an orange cat. The teacher had a picture of an orange cat on their desk. And the teacher's like, "What? Orange cats." It's an affinity token. Okay. It's our currency. Then the teacher would say to the child on a Monday or a Wednesday, hey, I saw this orange cat and I thought of you. Oh, right. So now when you see that young man, you're like, dude, I heard this punk rock song and I actually thought of you. That lights up so much of the brain that people are like, thought of me? That's so cool. That's so really cool that you
Yeah.
remembered something. It's a way. If it means that much to me when you do it, think about how much it hurts when you don't,
Mm,
right? Because the brain, it's not going to mean a lot if you do and mean nothing if you don't. It's going to
mm,
hurt the exact proportion opposite. And that's what we find is a lot of these kids, Miss Joy, I love dirt bikes. Yeah, I don't know nothing about dirt bikes. I think they have two wheels and they go vroom vroom, right? I don't even know if you can drive on the street. And I'm like, I do too. And then he's like, really? He's like, which one? And I'm like, the blue one? And he's like, oh, the Kawasaki, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, next thing I'm at Walmart buying Kawasaki stupid books so he and I can sit together so he can teach me. And you know what? I do love dirt bikes. You know why? Because it was my link into a kid I needed to help.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
I do, it wasn't a lie. Because as soon as you give me a way in, it's worth me knowing. And I am one of those moms, and you know, Anthony, we both have kids, and I was a soccer mom, a football mom, a cheer mom, a swim mom, an archery mom, a shooting mom, a blah 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 blah. Anything my kids were in, I was the mom. And it's so funny because people are like, "You like swim?" Yes, I love sitting by a pool for 14 hours to watch my daughter swim 47 seconds. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's life. Yet we had the swim mom shirts, the swim mom stickers on the SUVs. You know, we were the soccer mom, the archery mom. Dude, archery mom. Yeah. In the woods with Peter Pan dressed up people shooting on rubber statues. And I'm looking at my son thinking, this is the best day ever because he wanted to spend time with his mom. Imagine if he had said, Mom, I love archery. And I'm like, cool. I'm going to drop you off. I'll pick you off at 3.
You know, Joy, the more you talk, the more I realize that we always go back to the relationship and those
Always.
building blocks of that relationship. One of, and you say it in a funny way, man, but it's so true. When they feel affirmed, and this is what it does for them. I'm affirmed. What I enjoy, what I like, what I'm into is very important, and it validates them. It confirms that, hey, listen, I'm not just out of my mind about some of the things. I'm not different all the time. I'm accepted. I'm accepted. And I love what you said about that, man. Really, it comes back down to active listening. It comes
Yeah.
down to, and everybody needs it. You know, the adult needs it. And what happens when your child, you ask them, hey, listen, what do you think about this? And they're on their cell phones. And you know that feeling that you have when they're on their cell phones. So if you're not totally tuned in, then how do you expect them to feel? So I know that one of the things we love to do, Joy, is to give our friends great advice, or hopefully it's good advice on what we should do when it comes to this, even when it comes to listening, even because I know that the subject is about silence and how it feels like rejection. So in order to win them over, I guess that listening would be one of the solutions or whatever. One of the things that I notice is, you know, we never teach people how to listen. It's just like,
No.
yeah, it's like it is,
It's a skill.
it
It's a
is.
talent.
It truly is. It truly is. You know, there's a rule that I try to go by. I think you've heard of the 3-second rule. Like, at least try to respond to something that they say and give it a, you know, series of seconds. So, and even if you don't know what you want to say, just, you know, let me think about that for a second. Let me that what you just said makes sense. You know, oh, I hear you. Let me give that a second, because what that does is it says, okay, I'm not just not listening to you. I am literally into what you're saying, and I want to get this in my head to kind of come up with how I feel about this. And now that's a true conversation. It's a dance, man. It's a marriage. It's I listen to you, you listen to me. It goes back to that, what is that old saying? You know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So it sounds like it's fair. It's very fair. And we have mutual responsibility in this communication process.
Also, something else that's interesting is in normal conversations, if we're having a back and forth, 50% is you, 50% is me. And I
Mm.
think the data is somewhere like I speak 40% of the time about me, you speak 40% of the time about you, and then 20% is unrelated to either one of us. It's just the topic. When I'm on social media, 80% is about me.
Mm.
Okay. And when I get to speak about me, I get this dopamine hit and oxytocin hit because I feel special. And when you speak about you, you get the same hit. That's why we love
Mm.
people who are great listeners. One thing y'all may not know about AB is he is a very good listener. I am a terrible listener because I am always, anything he says, my brain sparks a new thought. And I'm like, oh, I have to tell him this. This is useful to him, and I'll even say, sorry for interrupting you, but listen, he go ahead, go ahead. Because I struggle. With not wanting to share those thoughts that I think are um, important that would help validate what you're saying. And that's
Mm.
not probably, probably the best thing. Something else we do, and I was struggling with which way to go with this because a lot of parents will do the silent treatment for their children
Mm.
as a form of discipline. And that can be a whole nother podcast
Yeah.
because that's very detrimental.
Mm.
We have brain scans that show that it hijacks the brain and the nervous system. And we have that it causes low self-esteem and a diminished cognitive effect even. And it creates hypervigilant because you're always watching the body language of the person you're afraid is going to give you the silent treatment, and it can lead to
Mm.
PTSD in kids and adults.
Mm.
What's fascinating is we have a universal need for belonging.
Mhm, mhm.
How this plays out, and I'm going to swing back to where I think we're going on this one. Welcome to being undiagnosed. I'm going to swing back. That should be the name of our podcast, Anthony, Undiagnosed. Anyways, hey, you got a minute? Because that's all the average American has is 1 minute. Our attention spans are so short that we really don't have time to focus on anything else. But here's what's crazy. We know more about how our cell phones work than our brains work. But who has time to dive deep into neuroscience? You do. 1 minute a day. Dive in. Just, hey, you got a minute. Neuro minutes to microdose neuroscience. Grab a copy. Change your life 1 minute a day.
And go and get the book. It's awesome.
Oh, if you say, hey, Joy, one way we can do this that also silences the person without us even realizing it.
Mhm.
If your dog has died and you're like, Joy, my dog died. And instead of me saying, tell me about your dog, that's so hard. How can I help? Tell me more. I'll say, I know how bad that is. My dog died 4 years ago, and I'm still sad. She was this perfect brown lab, and she was this and this. And we think we're connecting
Mhm.
by sharing our common story.
But we made it about ourselves. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
people do it all the time,
yeah.
all the time. And what actually that does is it silences the person.
Mhm.
And you're not coming from a bad place. You're coming from being like, look, I've been there.
Yeah,
I made it through. You're going to make it through.
yeah.
What that person needs to make it through is for someone to listen.
Yes.
Hear them say, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Oh, let me tell you what I did. I had 4 pints of ice cream every day for 2 weeks. Okay, what? No, I would not like to be a diabetic and
Yeah.
have no dog. So that's something to think about too, is listening is not sharing your own story. Listen, because I understand you think it's showing empathy, but
Yeah.
actually it's silencing the person. And then they're just stuck with, well,
Wow.
I really shouldn't say anything because she doesn't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do something like mask and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's tough, and walk away. And I've
Yeah.
not gotten what I've needed from you.
Yeah. What you're saying, Joy, I absolutely love because what you're defining in several different wonderful examples is using reflective listening um,
Hmm.
in a sorts. It's like, repeat back to me what you said, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, so you're saying you felt left left out, is that what I'm hearing?
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a playback mode in that sense, and so it's really effective. I've learned it because again, it proves you're tuned in, you're
You
listening.
tuned
I can
in.
regurgitate back to you and rewind and say what you
Yeah.
said to me, but let me make sure because what you're saying is important to me. Let me make sure that what you're saying is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Very
Right.
important. Very
And
important.
I'll even say that. Let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly because
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be sure, because sometimes I don't know where you want me to step in. And sometimes I will say to someone, do you want me to listen or do you want
Mm-hmm.
me to fix it? And
Mm-hmm.
99% of the time, listen. We had somebody the other day was going through something very harsh, and she went to talk to my supervisor. And I left the room so they could talk. When I came back in, my supervisor said, I had no advice to give her. All I did was just sit and listen. I said,
Mm-hmm.
then you gave her exactly what she needed. Because some things there are no answers to. It's just knowing someone's listening.
Yeah.
And we know that when people are silent to us, it lights up rejection in the brain, which lights up the same neural pathways as physical pain. Because I can't say this enough, the universal need of a human brain is to belong. And if you're going to reject me, it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful. Now, some people you may say, I don't think you were listening, and then they'll deflect.
Mm.
What? Because they don't want to hurt you. They didn't do it on purpose. So they're going to try to minimize it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that way to be like, no, no, dude, I watched your cat video,
Mhm,
but you didn't
mhm.
watch all of it. I watched the first 15 seconds, but it was a minute. And again, this sounds so asinine, but it's so impactful because
Yeah.
it's a those most of your life is going to be built by ordinary moments,
Mhm, mhm. You
not
know,
the extraordinary.
yeah. Joy, you said something that was really awesome. You said, don't you can't fix everything. Don't try to fix it all the time. Well,
Mm.
that's important. Don't rush to fix.
No.
Sometimes just being there, sometimes just being the support, just being there to listen is the fix. And do check up. Hey, you remember the thing you talked to me about? How's that going?
How's it
You're
going?
not getting, but because when it comes to young people, we do have to leave room for them to learn how to grow, how to navigate on their own. We can be a GPS, but we can't drive the car for them. We can guide them, but we can't drive it for them all the time.
And they're not going to want your solutions to their problems.
No.
Because what that is we are saying we're self-narrating what we would do in their shoes, and we
Yeah.
ain't them.
Right.
So most people don't want you to tell them what they should do.
Hmm.
They just want to hear it spoken out loud
Mhm.
and let me know that it's okay to be sad. Sometimes it's okay to be mad. Sometimes it's okay to just be. Sometimes it's okay just to exist. I mean, sometimes you don't have to feel any emotion. You can just be okay.
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand that we always try to happy people up. We want to fix because here's why. Oh, we have mirror neurons. And if Anthony is upset and I really care for Anthony and we're connected, I'm like, Anthony, why are you sad? Well, guess
Mhm.
what? My mirror neurons are making me feel sad
Yeah.
because I'm feeling what he's feeling. It's empathy. And if I feel sad, I don't want to feel sad, but I can't fix the sad part. But what can I fix, Anthony? So I can say to him, you're gonna be okay. Let's go get some cake. Come
Mhm.
on, let's go. Let's go sit down. Let's go top golf and shoot some balls. Let's go have some fun. Let's go take a long walk. I'm trying to happy him up. And again, it's coming from a good place, but it's also coming from a selfish place.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel sad and feel helpless. And instead of just sitting in the sadness with my friend and saying, what do you need?
Yeah.
I don't say that. Instead, I try to prescribe so he feels better, so I feel better,
Yeah.
and I move on with my life. And my mirror neurons are no longer telling me to feel sad because someone in my pack, my family, my tribe is sad.
Yeah. Let's make sure that we keep our minds on the big picture. The big picture is continuing to grow the bond, to develop the relationship, to grow the trust, to have those relationships that can lead to good outcomes. Enjoy. That's the end of our show this week as well. Girl, we got through that one pretty quick. What are we doing? But we want to make sure that you guys don't forget our three big things. One, be kind
Be curious.
and keep showing up.
Bye, y'all.
I wrote a book. Go check it out. Now, the book is called How to Eat an Elephant. And the old adage, of course, is one bite at a time. It's a book about young people and how to work with youth of today. But it's more about you, the adult, the person that cares for the young person, the advocate, the person that works with young people all the time. I want you to check it out.
Finally, a book written by someone who's walked the walk and not only talks the talk. Real talk. Deuces.